Namaskar. Today I am going to deliver the talk on Indian mythology and eternal physics. But before I will start my lecture, I would like to acknowledge my sincere thanks to all the organizers, specifically Space Education and Research Foundation, who are organizing this webinar, and especially my sincere thanks to Professor Hariom Bhatt sir. Because of his efforts, I am here to share my thoughts and views and ideas with you. Now, before I will start my lecture, I would like to acknowledge something. The first point which I would like to acknowledge is I never oppose the ideology of any religion. So, throughout my lecture, I will discuss many things which is based on Hindu culture and Hindu religion, but I am never opposing the ideology of other religion. So this is my first point of acknowledgement. Now, I respect all logics of other people. So those all who are listening me, suppose you are having another logic or other understanding about the religious or about the concept. So I am also respecting your ideology. I am respect all the religious, means I am giving equal respect to Muslim, Sikh, Parsi, Isai, and Hindu. So I am respecting all the religions. Ultimately, I am believing that all the religions are one lifestyle. And the information collected here in my lecture is I have collected from either internet or books or from stories listened from elders. And everything I have accumulated here. And initially, I will discuss something about the mythology and physics and science, life science, and many things. As we all are knowing that physics is eternal. So we will start from the beginning and then we will move forward. But I am politely ready for the improvement. So whatever I am going to explain here, it does not mean that this is the final conclusion. There is always scope of improvement. And all type of comments are welcome from my side. So with all this acknowledgement, now I am starting to discuss the things. Now we all are knowing that the universe, the beginning of universe is from the Big Bang. Big Bang is a model which is accepted by the scientific community. So in Big Bang, it was believed that there was some blast, and the blast happened before approximately 13 billion years ago. And many things are there. I do not want to go in the scientific discussion regarding the Big Bang. But still there is a question that why? Why Big Bang happened? Who did this? How? So these are the basic questions. And these questions are also answered in our mythologies. So I'm starting my discussion with the Vishnu Puran. So the definition of Vishnu Puran is given that Jiva Gnana Brahma Gnana Atha Sri Vishnu Puran. So Vishnu Puran is basically trying to give you the information about the life. Now, in Sanskrit, the Dhruva means a constant, immovable, or fixed. This is the actual meaning of Sanskrit. And Vishnu Puran had begun with a story of Dhruv. So we all are knowing the story of Dhruv, but with the story of Dhruv in Vishnu Puran, they had tried to give the information about the beginning of universe. Because from the earth, whenever we are taking various observations, so before thousands of years back, when Vishnu Puran was written at that time, the data which was collected by the Rishimunis, they were come to know that the only one star, which is the pole star or a Dhruv star, is fixed in the sky. Remaining all things are movable. So only Dhruv star or only the pole star is a constant. And that was the reason why the Saptarshis decided to give Dhruv the most revealed position, the most revealed seat. And they believed that this is the responsible star from where everything may emerge, everything may come out. And the reason is this is the only stationary, that is why this may be on the center of the universe. And that is why the Vishnu Puran, the stories of Vishnu Puran, you can say, had begun from the story of Dhruva. So this was the understanding at the time of Vishnu Puran. Now we all are knowing this is the one pictorial representation of our galaxy Milky Way. We all are knowing this. And here you can see that our sun is located here. And all the planets, including our Earth, are revolving around this sun. So this is now accepted by everyone. But what are the things available in the universe? There are many things in the universe. Now we are having this picture, but the same concept was given also in Vishnu Puran. You can see this is the Virat Swarup. And when Arjun had seen this Virat Swarup, so he had seen so many Virat Swarup. When he seen on the top, he found one Virat Swarup. When he looked towards right, one more Virat Swarup. When he looked towards left, one more Virat Swarup. So on the different sides, he had found that so many Virat Swarups were there. And with this Virat Swarup of Lord Vishnu, he or the scientist or the Rishiminis were trying to give the information regarding the universe. You can see there are various mouths are given in the Virat Swarup. Somewhere you may see the fire which is coming out. Somewhere you can see the water is coming out. In some mouths you can see that large number of people are going inside the mouth. Somewhere the large number of people are coming out. Right? So various mouths have been given in this Virat Swarup. The meaning of this mouth is nothing but the information about the universe. All the mouth from where the fire is coming out is actually a star, a sun like a star, from where the fire is coming out. There is also an existence of water. You can see the water is coming out. So in the universe, there is a possibility of water. Even we have found the water not only on the earth, but on the moon we have also found the water because of our latest research. So water is also there in the universe. Now the mouth in which everything is going in is a symbolic representation of black hole. So in black hole, everything is going inside. Similarly, it is shown here with the mouth in which everything is going inside the mouth. And from where the mouth is coming, the people are coming out. So this mouth is indicating the planet like Earth. So in Earth, we all are knowing that the death and birth is a continuous process. So birth is possible on the planet like Earth. So different planets and the information regarding the universe is given here with this Virat Swarup of Lord Vishnu. So here, now in Vishnu Puran and latest modern science. Now the modern science is accepting the Darwin's theory of evolution. And even in Darwin theory of evolution, it was shown that the generations that began from the elements like amoeba or paramecium, and from there the latest person like me and you are here on the earth. So this is the continuous process of evaluation, and this was given by the Darwin first of all. But here, if you consider our Vishnu Puran, so they have also given our Indian evaluation process. As per the Vishnu Puran, they have given that this is a very popular picture. You can see here, these are the 10 avatars of Lord Vishnu. So 10 births, whenever Lord Vishnu is taking a birth on the earth, so it is considered as an avatar in Vishnu Puran. So it had begun from the Matsya avatar, then Kurma avatar, Vara avatar, and so on. Now, what is the meaning of this avatar? So it gives you the information about starting of life on the earth. So it was started inside the water, which is given by the first generation. So first generation of life was given in the water, which was indicated by the Matsya avatar. Then in the second generation, from the water, it gains some power, gains some energy, and slowly it comes on the earth. So the second birth or second avatar or second generation is a Kurma avatar. Kurma avatar means a tortoise. Matsya avatar means a fish. So from fish, now a tortoise come, and from tortoise, then Vara avatar. So even more power is received by the life. And then the third generation is a Vara avatar. After Vara avatar, there is also an existence of biotechnology. You can say that there is a fourth generation which is given by the Narsimha avatar. Narsimha avatar is a hybridization of man and lion. The body of man and head of lion are merged together with the latest biotechnology. So it was the example of biotechnology, you can say, and which was the fourth generation. And it is indicating us that various lives are produced on the earth by the nature, and where the biotechnology also played a very important role. You can call it a natural biotechnology, probably, if it wasn't done by someone. Then the fifth generation is a Vaman avatar. Then after the Vaman avatar, there are many avatars like Parshuram, Ram, Krishna, Buddha. So all these are to establish the religions. So a good lifestyle, a perfect lifestyle, a lifestyle in which everybody get happiness. So this was the aim and intention of all those people. But now Darwin hasn't predicted anything about the future. But here in the Vishnu Puran, they have also given the prediction about the future. Means the 10th birth of Lord Vishnu will be in the future, and it is named as a Kalki Avatar. So Kalki Avatar will be in the future. So the meaning, if we will see the picture of this Kalki Avatar, so you can see now here I am showing you the picture of Kalki Avatar, in which the Lord Vishnu is sit on the horse. Here you can see the cursor. This is the Kalki Avatar. So Lord Vishnu is on the horse. Here the meaning of horse is a motion, right? So here it is indication given that in the future, whenever Lord Vishnu will take birth on the earth, so the whole life or the maximum life of the Lord Vishnu will be in a motion. And this motion, the horse is just a symbol. But this motion may be on some planet or in satellite or in rocket or in some spacecraft. Because it is very obvious that now if you want to go away from the earth, suppose some planet is there which is just 100 light years away from the earth, so how difficult it is to reach there, and you need generations to reach there. So in such case you need a spacecraft in which somebody will travel, so they need to spend their maximum time in a motion. So this information is also given here, that now the Kalki Avatar will move towards the space and with a motion. So maximum time of the life will pass in certain journey, certain motion. So this is the information given in Vishnu Puran. But at that time, all the knowledge was transferred in a good stories, and by the story, everybody can understand the science very easily. Now here you can see, this is the our solar system. This solar system in photograph is accepted by everyone because this is the scientific photograph. Here it is shown that the sun is in the center and all the planets are revolving around the sun, including our earth. So all the planets are revolving. Right now here, what is the importance of this planet? So with help of these planets and its motion, now we are moving forward for our Indian traditions. Now this is the horoscope. Everybody knows it. I know few people are believing in horoscope and few people are not believing in horoscope. This is not a matter of debate for us at present. Those who are not believing in horoscope, it is okay. This is their personal thing. But here, I would like to put certain scientific questions in your mind. Here also you can see that this Guru, Mangal, Shani, these all are the planets. And all these planets are also there which are revolving around this sun. So how this horoscope is made? This is the first question. Whether it is made randomly? No. It isn't made randomly. There is a specific calculation is there behind it. And initially people were saying that if the planets are revolving in the sky, so how it can affect me? So those people who are not believing in horoscope, generally they are doing this argument. So now I would like to raise one question which is related to this gravitational waves. So now we are doing very active research. We in the sense, the modern science. The modern science is doing very active research to detect the gravitational wave. And we have detected as well. So now the modern science is ready to accept that if something is moving in the space and this movement is having a relationship with gravity and this gravitational movement is producing the gravitational waves. So now we are in a position to accept that the motion of the stars and planet is producing certain waves and that waves are reaching on the earth. Now this needs a different debate whether these waves are affecting us or not. But there are a presence of certain waves. So this certain waves may be responsible to believe you or me inside the horoscope. Okay, I do not want to go in detail, but this horoscope is not a random horoscope, or the planets which are put in various positions is not a random position. So here we are having a various traditions which are related to these horoscope and panchang and the moment of motion of the planets and stars. So the first example is often we are using horoscope for matchmaking. So friends, I would like to convey one information that horoscope is based on probability, possibilities and motion of various planets and stars. So this everything is combined in a Jyotish Shastra. And Jyotish Shastra is a very important book, or very important, you can say, for the designing of, or for the development of this horoscope. So horoscope we are using for matchmaking. During matchmaking, it is giving you information about the nature of a male and female, and it is giving you the probability that if this type of nature is there, so whether the matching is proper or improper or something like that. Now, what is Panchang? Right? Panchang is basically giving you the information of 5 points: day, date, yoga, karna, nakshatra. Now, what is this and what are the importance? It needs a separate lecture or separate debate. But this is giving you the information about the motion of different planets in the sky and different nakshatras as well. Right? Now, what is the importance of this all? So with help of this movement, we comes to know about the atmosphere on the earth, whether the summer or monsoon or winter. These all seasons depends on the distance between sun and earth. We all are knowing this, right? So, the earth is revolving around the sun. So suppose I want to finalize the date after 1 year. I wanted to travel somewhere, or I would like to make some arrangement for the marriage or something like that. So I wanted to finalize the date, right? So first of all, date finalization itself is a science, and it is having a relation with the motion of the stars and planets. So date finalization as per Panchang and horoscope means it gives you the probability and possibility about whether at that particular date there is a probability of rainfall, or what is the probability of heat, or what is the probability of cold. So all this information is available in a Panchang, and based on that probabilities, the people are finalizing the date, which we call Murat. So this is based on the probability and possibility. Now, those people who wanted to go for long journey or long travel, so it is very obvious that suppose after 6 months I wanted to do traveling of thousands of kilometers. So what season should I select? So the season, I must avoid monsoon. Why? Because the rainy season, suppose I will do the traveling, so it may create some problem. So for the finalizing the schedule of traveling, this Panchang is helpful because it gives you probability and possibility about rain and different positions of the stars in the sky. And of course, the atmospheric conditions, which is very important. Now the same planets and stars were used whenever there wasn't any magnetic compass, or there wasn't a GPS or navigation system, right? So even at that time, whenever people want to travel from one place to another place, whether they want to travel from ocean or from jungle, so by looking towards the sky, they will find the path, they will find the way. So the planets and stars were used to find the direction whenever the people are either in a jungle or in an ocean. So these are the important examples. Means the planets and stars which are moving in the sky and which are documented in a Panchang is not a random. It is a very continuous observations for thousands of years, and then they come to know that at this particular moment this should be the motion, this should be the position and prediction and everything. Now we all are knowing about the Diwali and New Year. Why we are celebrating Diwali and New Year? What is its relationship with the science? So Diwali is giving you the information about the position of Earth in the space. On every Diwali, the position of the Earth will remain same, because whenever it completes one revolution, so the whole year is passed, and the Earth will also come on the same position, and we are celebrating Diwali or a New Year. So this is also connected with this tradition, like a Diwali and New Year, is also having a connection with space science, with the physics. So physics is eternal. It is everywhere. And our mythology and religious is also eternal. So now the information about the solar and lunar eclipse is also available in Panchang. We all are aware about the solar and lunar eclipse. And the temples are also keeping closed. So what is the reason behind it? Why the temples are keeping closed? So we all are knowing now in the modern science, whenever an eclipse happened, so normally our senior people are advising us that don't see the eclipse with the naked eye. Suppose you will see the solar eclipse with the naked eye, so it may be harmful for your eyes. So it is very obvious that you should not see. So it was advised to the people that during the eclipse, don't go outside, just stay inside your home. So this advice was given, and those people who wanted to do some research during the eclipse, because whenever eclipse takes place, so even today, our so many scientists are doing a very active research during the period of eclipse. So even in a past time, whenever the eclipse happened, so many scientists wanted to do the work, and all those scientists who were working on or who were doing the research were Rishi Munis and Brahmins. So all those Brahmins and Rishi Munis are not having only research as a main business. Their main business is worshipping. So they are doing a duty in a temple, and that is why it was decided that keep the temple closed. So all the people, all the worshippers are become free, and they can do their own research work, and they can get a free time during a eclipse period. So this is the probable reason behind it. And the temples were kept closed. Even still today, the temples are keeping closed, right? And the people are become free. Now, one more very important tradition, which is based on the atmospheric conditions and the caste-based system, which is the dressing of clothes and colors. So this color code is very important in our country. If someone is wearing a white cloth, so we can very easily recognize that he might have gone somewhere for funeral or something like that. And if someone is wearing a tie and suit and sherwani and something like that, so we can very easily identify it and recognize that there is some good occasion is there, some function is there, marriage or something like that. And there are also clothes are associated with a community. Few communities are having a typical clothes. Few Brahmins are wearing dhoti and kurta, right? And the different communities are having a different clothes. So this clothes and its color code is played a very important role in the society. And why this tradition has happened? There is also a sun or distance, means the atmospheric conditions. Whether the atmospheric condition is hot or atmospheric condition is cold. And that is why we found that the people who are living in Jammu and Kashmir are having a different dressing sense than those people who are living in Gulf countries. So this color combination and dressing of clothes is also having a certain science and needs to study. So these are the traditions in our country. And we do not know that who did this or who is responsible for this tradition, but this tradition is there, and these all traditions are scientific traditions, you can say. Now we all are believing in a modern science and Western countries and Western developments, and we all are knowing that Gregorian calendar. We all are following Gregorian calendar. If I will ask someone that what is today's date, so the date with Gregorian calendar will be answered. But if I will ask the same question to even some Indian that what is the Vikram Samvat of today, means which is we call the Tithi. So today's date in Vikram Samvat is very difficult for everyone to remember. Now here I would like to compare these two, the Indian calendar which is called Vikram Samvat and international calendar, internationally recognized calendar, this is the Gregorian calendar. Now in Gregorian calendar this is 2020, and as far as our Vikram Samvat is concerned, it is 2076 in India. Of course, in other parts of India, it may be different. It is 2077 or something like that. But in Gujarat, if I am talking about the Gujarat as a Gujarati, so this is the Vikram Samvat 2076. Now, if you will do the difference, 2076 minus 2020. So it is very clear that if we believe that one in Vikram Samvat, the year is +1 at an interval of 1 year. So our Vikram Samvat is 56 years advanced than Gregorian calendar, because 2076 minus 2020 will be 56. So Vikram Samvat comes into existence 56 years before the Gregorian calendar. This is the very clearly indicated with this figure. So our Indian Vikram Samvat is much more advanced than the Gregorian calendar. Okay. One more point I would like to mention, that I am often asking one question to the people, why there is 12 months in a year? Because in Gregorian calendar, they are also having a 12 month. In Vikram Samvat, we are also having a 12 month. Why? What is the reason? Many people are unable to answer. I know many intellectual people are listening me, so they are knowing it. But if you compare these two calendars, so in Vikram Samvat, it is based on the solar cycle as well as lunar cycle. In Vikram Samvat, we are also getting information about the full moon day or Purnima and Amavasya. So, what is the position of the moon? That information is also given in Vikram Samvat. But this type of information is not available in Gregorian calendar. In fact, the calculation of Gregorian calendar is much more difficult than the Vikram Samvat, because for the correction we are having a 28 or 29 days in February, and that February calculation is also different at an interval of 400 years or 100 years. So if you will go and study the actual formula, so it is quite complicated and difficult formula. While in case of Vikram Samvat, it is corrected at an interval of 3 years with the Parshottam Mas. So Vikram Samvat is corrected at an interval of 3 years, while Gregorian calendar is corrected at an interval of 4 years. And even that correction is not uniform because it cannot match with a lunar cycle. So what is the position of the moon in the sky? That information is not given. And one more point I would like to explain, that the calendar was in existence, particularly in our India, even before the Vikram Samvat. Because if you believe that Vikram Samvat had begun with 0001, so from when it began means before 2076 years back, but even before that, there was also an existence of calendar. Of course, it needs a debate, different lecture and different debate, but there was an existence. Many scientific proofs are there about this. Okay, so I'm not going in a detailed discussion, but I would like to just prove that our ancient science, which are developed in our own country, is much more superior than those people who have developed in foreign countries. Now here, if I considering the present situation of science, particularly in our India, so in our India, our UGC has bifurcated the subjects in 4 disciplines. And these 4 disciplines are physical sciences, chemical sciences, life sciences, and mathematical sciences. So at present, we are enforcing students to choose a single discipline out of this 4. And the student is capable to learn the knowledge of any one discipline out of this 4 disciplines. If someone wants to gain the knowledge about the physical sciences and life sciences, so it is almost impossible for that people. Nowadays, universities have also started the biophysics, which is a different matter. Now the concept of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary has emerged, and now the UGC is also agreed in this direction. But whatever situation present is there, so we are bifurcated in 4 disciplines actually. If you consider the physical sciences, so they are having information and knowledge about only physics, electronics, astronomy, material science, applied physics, geophysics, and so on. On another hand, if someone is having a knowledge about chemical sciences, so he is knowing only organic or inorganic, physical, chemistry, and something like that. If someone is having a knowledge about life science, so microbiology, zoology, these all are under the roof of life sciences. And if you will consider mathematical sciences, so mathematics, statistics, and applied mathematics. Suppose some person who is studying a science, and if he is interested in economics, suppose he is interested in Ayurveda, so there is no scope. Yeah, if the person is studying in life science, then he can look forward towards the Ayurveda. But if some student of physics wants to learn Ayurveda, so it is almost impossible. There is no provision at present in any university or college for going in this direction. So this is the present scenario where we are bifurcated in various disciplines and various subjects. So subjects boundaries are the biggest constraint, you can say. Now here one more great example I want to discuss with you, where we all are knowing the importance of Pythagoras theorem. All the students either in 9th or 10th standard, they are studying the Pythagoras theorem. The whole trigonometry is a result of Pythagoras theorem. We all are knowing that a square plus b square is equal to c square. The mathematical equation we are always remembering, and it is very important as far as mathematical point of view. But here, see, I do have one Sanskrit slok. It is really, I am so much unfortunate that it is very difficult for me to read this Sanskrit text and interpret it. But I know it. This Sanskrit text is copied from Bodhayana Sulabha Sutra C1 V48. Here, this slok is giving you the information Dirgha Chaturasrayaha Kshanaya Rajuhu and so on. So this slok was written by the Bodhayana, and it is giving you the same information about the Pythagoras theorem. So you can imagine that the Pythagoras theorem means the statement is explained in Sanskrit, and when it was explained, much before than the Pythagoras. Here I do have a time span. See, Pythagoras did this somewhere in 570 BC, right? And if you consider the Bodhayan, so he did this in 800 BC. So you can imagine 570 BC and 800 BC. So approximately 150 years before. So before 150 years, the Pythagoras theorem was not only invented in India, but it was documented as well, because you can see Bodhayana Sulabha Sutra C1V48. So it is documented as well. So this is the greatness. Whenever I found this, so I surprised. See, so Bodhayana was originally discovered the Pythagoras theorem. So today, the world knows of Bodhayan's theorem as a Pythagoras theorem. Now everybody knows. So it was the false claim by the Pythagoras, actually, you can say. And as an Indian, we feel proud that Bodhayan had found it. So actually, we should calling it Bodhayan theorem. So as an Indian, now it is our duty to call it a Bodhayan theorem rather than Pythagoras theorem, because it was invented 150 years before, approximately. Right? All BCs are available. Here, one more very interesting example with me. Right? We all are knowing the three laws of Newton. Newton gave three laws. Right? The first law is the change of motion is due to impressed force, and the other two are there. So Newton's law are very important and fundamental. It gives a one branch of physics. You can see the mechanics had begun from here, right? So it is very important. But when Newton gave it, he gave it in 1687, right? Means 400 or 500 years back, approximately 400 years back. Now, here I have found one information from the internet. You can also find this, that Acharya Kanad had found all these three laws many years before the Newton, somewhere around 600 BC. And here I do have a Sanskrit slokas of all the three laws. See, the first law, in which Acharya Kanad had written in 600 BC, that Vegeha Nimitta Visheshat Karmano Jayate. This is the Sanskrit text. And the same is translated by Newton in English, and he gave it that the change of motion is due to impressed force. Now you can imagine that all the three laws of Acharya Kanad had been copy pasted by Newton. This is a very big statement I want to say, but this all information is available on internet, and all the three laws with a Sanskrit statement and Newton's law in an English. But this is really a pity of you all that even though I am a Brahmin, it is difficult for me to read this Sanskrit text and interpret in a proper sense. While I can understand English because I studied English, right? So this Newton's law in English I can read and understand, but it is difficult for me to read this Sanskrit text and understand. And the reason behind it is when the Mughal had come here and then thereafter Britishers. So they have proved that those people who are knowing Sanskrit are foolish and those who are knowing English are highly intellectual. So this misconception is still in our brain, and that is why we are also running to publish our paper in foreign journals and with an English language, but we are not giving equal priority to our own language, Sanskrit. This is the great pity of we all Indians. And whatever tradition which our forefathers have said, you can see now whenever the problems come because of COVID-19, everybody knows Prince Charles, right? And now Prince Charles is also ready to adopt our tradition. He is doing namaste, while the tradition in British countries was shaking hands. They are shaking their hands, or they are touching their cheeks, or they are giving hug. So these are the traditions in the foreign countries. While what are the traditions in our country? We are doing namaste. So you can see that this namaste, our tradition, is now accepted by Prince Charles. Not only at one position, at various positions. Now they are ready to adopt our traditions. That namaste, because of COVID problem, it is much, much better than the shaking hands. And you can see not only Prince Charles, but this great gentleman, Donald Trump, has also accepted this. So everybody are ready to accept the Indian traditions. So now you can imagine that our Indian traditions are great, right? Now here one more information I would like to share with you. So here this information is regarding the Nobel Prize. So you may find so many websites based on this. So Yoshinori Oshumi wins the Nobel Prize in 2016. Please excuse me if this pronunciation is done wrong, because this is the person from Japan, and his name is belonging to their culture. So we are, as an Indian, it is difficult for us to pronounce the name properly. But the one gentleman had won the Nobel Prize in Medicine and Physiology in 2016. Why he was given Nobel Prize? So he found that the fasting for 12 plus to 24 hours triggers autophagy. Now, autophagy, the new word given by him, and is thought to be one of the reasons that fasting is associated with longevity. It means if you want to live long, then go for fasting for 24 hours. So this information is scientifically proved now. And the person had won the Nobel Prize. And this fasting is also helping you for improvement of blood sugar control, then reduce inflammation, weight loss, and improve brain function. See, this everything is scientifically proved by one gentleman, and he got the Nobel Prize, right? And whenever you are going for the fasting, so he proved that there are certain secretions happened in your stomach, and that secretion is responsible for repairing your own damaged cells. It means it can help even in a cancer therapy to repair your damaged cells, right? And this is you can say this is a new direction given to the medical science. But I'm very happy by listening this news. But what is my interest? My interest is in our culture, in our Hindu religions. At every 15 days, there is an Ekadashi, and we all are habituated to do fasting on every Ekadashi. We are doing fasting on Janmashtami. We are doing fasting on Ram Navami. So we are often habituated with this fasting. I don't think that in the world or on the earth, any other community outside the India are following this fasting traditions. So you can imagine that our forefathers have not only developed scientifically, but they have put everything in the tradition. The science is in tradition, and we are living a scientific lifestyle because of our forefathers. So this is the greatness of our traditions. Now I'm coming on the second part of my lecture. So whatever I have discussed is actually developed by our forefathers, and my contribution is zero basically. I haven't contributed anything in all these traditions, because all these traditions and everything, all the knowledge I have gained or I have got after my birth, right? So my contribution is zero, you can say. Yeah, of course, as an Indian, I feel proud, but my contribution is almost negligible. I am simply giving these lectures and I am informing people and students. That's it. But now here I am starting discussion in which my contribution is there. Either my contribution or my students from physics department, North Gujarat University, have contributed. So now I am going to discuss the physics, which is important from my point of view, in which my contribution is there. See here, the list you can see on the screen, that these are the various workshops which are organized by me, not only in my university, but I am organizing this workshop in different universities and different colleges. Many people are inviting me to organize this type of workshop, and I'm very happy to go there. And these workshops are power supply, clock with date and alarm, stop clock, electronic calculator, code converter, wait on different planet, on off electrical appliances by password. Now I am discussing this in slight detail. Here I am also having photographs of all these kits which are developed by my students during the workshop and other activities. So here you can see this is the photograph of clock. Normally, whenever I am delivering my live lecture in some seminar or in workshop, so often it happens that the students are coming on the stage and they are playing with it, they are touching it, they are feeling it, they are sensing it. So all these models are readily available with me. But here, as this is a webinar, I can simply show you the photographs. So this is the photograph of a clock with the date and alarm. The facility is available there. This clock can show you the time. This clock can also show you the date. And this here in this clock, we can also set the alarm. And this clock is designed and developed by my students in my department. And we are also doing workshops in various colleges and universities where students are spending 2 days. Each and every component is given to them. A readily available kit is there. So we are giving each kit to each team. Probably 20 to 30 teams are there. And all students are taking the soldering iron. They are sitting in the laboratory for 2 days. They are doing many exercise, many work. So this is the real technical work is done by the student. And those students who are putting it in a working condition, first of all, I have seen that their happiness is like anything. They are jumping in the laboratory, they are enjoying it, because this is the real work and real knowledge. So this type of workshop, this is a, you can say, I am the only person in India who is doing this type of activities. No other person in physics or in other university are doing this type of activities. So this is my monopoly as well, you can say. So this is the one example, one model is you can see here on the screen. There is also many other models. The other model is the stop clock. This stop clock is helping you to measure the 5 time intervals. Suppose 5 students are running, and if you want to measure the time that when first student had reached, when second student had reached, so with help of one key, you can note down or you can save the timings of 5 students. 5 interval can be saved here. And the accuracy of this stop clock is centisecond. Centisecond means 100th part of 1 second. So the accuracy of this clock is 100th part of 1 second. So this is also developed in our department by our students. And here this is the calculator. This type of calculator is very popular now because many students are developing this calculator. Whatever calculators we are using, whether in our home or in our office or anywhere, most of the calculators are either developed in China or developed in Japan or USA or in some other country. Because in India, no one is developing this type of calculator. But here, this calculator, the photograph which you are seeing, this calculator is developed in my laboratory in Patan, a city in North Gujarat University. So student had developed this. And in this calculator, you can do summation, subtraction, multiplication, division, then exponential, right? All these functions are possible. Even in this calculator, you can do 2.5 raised to 3.5. This type of mathematical calculation is also possible here. And this calculator is developed by my student within 2 days during a workshop of which is based on the calculator. So I am giving them everything, and they are doing soldering and fault finding and testing and many things. So 2 days are given to them, and at the end of second day, they have to make it ready. So this is the target based work, and this is the result of the workshop. So this is the calculator, and you can see many things I do have to show you. This is the weight on different planet. We know whenever you are reaching on Mars or on Moon, so the weight will be changed, right? Because of different gravity is there. Everybody knows it. But how it is changed, how much it is changed, of course, it is depends on various parameters, like what is the gravitational constant there, right? What is the radius of that particular planet, and many things are there. But here I have developed this one model in which all the things are stored inside. And whenever you are entering your weight, suppose your weight is 55 kg. So whenever you are entering your 55 kg, and whenever you are pressing the button of moon, so it will directly convert your weight on the moon, and you will get the result. Not only integer value, but suppose your weight is 56.97 kilogram, then also it can convert very accurately. And all the planets and satellite like moon is covered. Even the sun is also covered, because we know that even on the sun, with help of the radius and its gravitational constant, we can find it. So all the information is stored there, and whenever a student is inserting his weight on the earth, so he can translate immediately or he can calculate immediately the weights on different planets. So this is one model developed by me and my students in my department. So these are the projects and workshops done by my students. See, this is the code converter, and this code converter I will also explain as a model. This is the project outcome, but this is also we are selling as a product of our department. This will help you to convert the binary, interconvert, you can say, interconvert the binary, decimal, octal, hexadecimal like codes. So this is a basic code converter. This is also developed by our students. Now here, this is the on of any electrical appliances by password. This model I have developed to give understanding to the students about the password, and specifically now everybody are using password, whether they are going in ATM to operate the ATM card, or whether they are using their email, or they are doing any activity on the internet. So password is very important. So this is the model developed by me, in which there is one keyboard, some system, and a bulb I have put. You can see the bulb as well. Whenever you are inserting a proper password, then and then this bulb will be switched on. Otherwise, this bulb will not be a switch on. So in this model, often I am inviting various students to correct the password. So many students are often coming on the stage They are entering various combinations, but it is very obvious that nobody can switch on this bulb, right? Because they do not know the password. And then I am teaching that how to crack the password. I am showing them that how it happens and what care you should take whenever you are using your, whether your ATM card or you are using your e-wallet. So what important steps you need to take and what are the cares you need to take. So this is giving the information regarding the password and its importance. Now here, this is the very interesting product of my department. This is service request indicator. And yeah, as far as this product is concerned, Government of India has also given me a patent for this product. So this is a very important product for me as well because this is my first patent. So this service request indicator is normally used in hotels, hospitals, public places, in offices, where many places. See, the importance of this device is whenever you require uh, someone's help, so you can press a key. So in hotel, we all are knowing that there are various rooms and there is a one common counter. Whenever you want to call someone from the counter, so either you have to go there to call him, or suppose EPBX is with you, then you can call the number. But even in EPBX, there is a problem. EPBX is economical for those hotels where you are in a 30 plus room. Suppose you are in a 10 room hotel or 20 room hotel, and if you are installing EPBX, so this is a very high cost. EPBX is there. So I have developed this low cost device in place of EPBX. If you do not want to go for high end solution, so you can go for low end solution. Here you can simply install one switch in every room, and this model you can install on the desk of the people who are standing there on the counter. So whenever any person is pressing the switch from the room, so the room number will be displayed on the screen, and at the same time there is an alarm. So the buzzer sounds, and because of buzzer sounds, immediately person comes to know that someone needs my help in some particular room. It has also memory. Suppose two or three people are pressing the keys together, then also other numbers are stored into the memory. It has many advantages. You can see here I have used light emitting diode. So even at the night time, you can see it. You need not to switch on the light and go near to see it. Even from the far distance, you can say that from room number 109, someone is calling you. So just go and provide the service. And you can program the number from 000 to 999. One piece can be designed for 10 rooms. So 10 requests can be solved with help of one device. And we have installed it in various hotels. And before designing this instrument, I have sit with the hotel people, those people who are working there with the waiters and other people, and what are their problems that I have noted down. And after noting down all the problems, I have solved and corrected. And this device is developed by me. So this is, you can say, this is my own creation and my own patent, right? So this is the service request indicator. Me and my students are also taking orders of all these patents, and we are providing them. We are also installing it on the various hotels and other places. So this is, you can say, my own. This is the easy code converter. This is also a product developed by me and my students, and we are selling it in various schools and colleges. Right here, this is a very simple. It can interconvert the binary, octal, decimal, and hexadecimal numbers. We all are knowing the importance of this all four codes. Now I need not to go in detail, but to learn the IT and computer and microprocessors, you have a very good read on this binary number system and octal number system. Right? I have experienced that many students, even though they are occupying the degree of MSc or MTech, but their basic sense in this code conversion is very poor. And that is why I developed this. I am often asking certain questions to students that can you convert 5.5 into binary? So many students are unable to answer. And to solve this purpose, I designed and developed this. And now I am supplying it in various colleges and various schools where this is freely used, and the student can enter suppose 5.5, and whenever he will press the binary key, so immediately it will convert it into the binary. So this is also a very important product, and it is also developed in my department. See here, this is the list of products. So service request indicator, as I explained, then electrical power alarm for farm. This is also very important product, and this is specifically for the farmers. So where my university is situated, located, it is in the Patan district. So in Patan district, few people who are working with me are having a sound connection with farmers, and whenever they are going in a farm, so they have observed one problem there. And the farmers came to know and asked him that you are going in a university and you are doing so many things, so yeah, at least solve our problem. So the problem came to me, right? And they told me that the problem, what was the problem that I'm trying to explain you? That in a Patan district, government is not allowing each and every farmer to do well in their farm. So what they are doing, 10 to 15 farmers are making one cooperative society, and they are utilizing a common tube well. And for the common tube well, they are recruiting one bore operator. They are calling it a bore operator, means the tube well operator. Tube well is known as a bore in Gujarati. So they are recruiting one tube well operator. And what is the work of that tube well operator? Whenever electricity comes, so he has to switch on the tube well and supply power in some particular farm. So they are supplying water in farm number 1, then on second day in farm number 2, then on third day on farm number 3, and so on. So this is the normal tradition there in Patan and nearby district. So what was the problem? The government is supplying electricity for 8 hours only, and sometimes they are supplying electricity at night. So the practical problem is this: suppose the electricity comes at 2 o'clock in the night, so tubular operator was sleeping, right? Suppose he comes to know at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock that the electric power has arrived, and now he has to switch on the tube well. So then he will go and he will switch on the tube well, and then the water will be supplied. So he lost the electricity for 2 hours or 3 hours. So this was the practical problem there, and we have tried to solve this practical problem. What we did, whenever the electricity comes, also very loud hooter is hooting there. So I have connected one hooter, and it sounds for only 1 minute. So during the period of 1 minute, whenever hooter sounds, so all the farms which are nearby, they comes to know that the now electricity is available, and now they can utilize it. So now the farmers are utilizing the electricity for 8 hours. So this is the importance of this device, and we have also installed this in many farms, and many people are using this. So this is the electrical power hour. It is simply giving you the information that now the electric power is available. It sounds a buzzer. So very simple it is, and very low cost as well. So every farmer can, or every tube well operator can purchase it and install on their farm. Now another is a timer. Everybody is knowing about the timer, so I do not want to do in detailed discussion. Wait on different planet. This also I explained. Now this concentration counter. This is also a novel item, I can say, and a uniqueness of my department. Now in the field of science and technology, I don't think that anyone has found the methodology or an instrument by which you can measure the level of concentration. Suppose I am delivering lecture to 50 candidates, so all the 50 candidates are having a different level of concentration. And how much knowledge or how much information is gained by whom, it is unknown. Still nobody has found it. But here I have tried to develop one instrument in which we are able to measure the level of concentration. And in my normal lectures, normally I am inviting some student on the stage, and I am measuring the level of concentration and telling them this is your level of concentration. We are also doing so much research in this area that whether my reading of concentration is having some relation with the psychological stress, or with the physical fitness, or level of blood pressure, or level of sugar. So many research is possible with this concentration counter, but at present I do not have anything to show you or demonstrate you. But if you want to see this, this is a novel item, you can say, of my department, and if you want to see it, so you are welcome in my North Gujarat University Physics department. I will show you the demonstration of this as well. So this is the concentration counter which measures the level of concentration. Now another product is fastest finger sequence indicator. Now this is also a very interesting product. Now, if I'm talking about my experience, so since last 10 to 12 years, I am organizing the quiz for Patan district. Actually, DST is organizing all this, and I am with the community science. I am advisor to the community science sector Patan, and every year we are organizing one quiz in which we are inviting 50 to 60 school students. So from every school, they are sending 2 students. So you can say that 50 to 60 teams were there, and they were come there for the quiz, and we are organizing a quiz, and then we will shortlist 1 or 2 teams, 1, 2, and 3 teams. Okay. So what I experienced, that whenever 50 teams were come, I can organize quiz for only 3 to 4 teams, because you all are knowing that in quiz normally 3 to 4 teams can play a quiz. So this was the question. So it was putting one question in my mind that 50 teams have come, the children from 50 schools are coming there, and I can satisfy only 3 to 4 teams because I can organize a quiz between 3 to 4 teams only. So this was the problem in front of me. And the second problem was whenever the quiz finished, so often I comes to know that some question which was asked by me to some particular team is difficult for us. So always those teams who are defeating the battle are saying that, sir, you asked a simple question to this team and that is why they have won. And you asked difficult question to us, that is why we defeated. So this was the common practice. So I thought that even in the quiz, we are not giving equal opportunity to all the teams because we are asking different questions to different teams. So we need to do something by which we give equal opportunity to each and every team. So by putting these two questions in my mind, I developed this device, which is the fastest finger sequence indicator. In this device, I have developed one system in which 10 keys are available. And I am giving this team 10 keys to 10 teams. So instead of 3 teams or 4 teams, now 10 teams, 1 0, 10 teams can play the quiz. So I am encouraging 10 teams to play the quiz, and all the 10 teams are keeping one switch in their hand. And I am putting my question on PPT. So PPT is in front of all the 10 teams. So those students who can solve the question, first of all, he will press the buzzer. So it is very obvious that at the time 3 to 4 teams will press the buzzer, and all the sequence of this 3 to 4 teams will be stored inside my device. And then based on the memory, I am giving first chance to the first team who press the key first, second chance to second team who press the switch second, third chance to third team who press the switch third. And now I am organizing my all quiz in which I can satisfy 10 teams and giving equal opportunity to all the 10 teams. All the rounds are based on this fastest finger sequence indicator. So in all the rounds I am using this, and students are very happy. No, neither student can blame or claim that you asked me difficult or simple question because question is common for all. So equal opportunity to all the students. So this fastest finger sequence indicator is also developed by me, and because of this device, now many schools and colleges are inviting me as a quiz master. So me and my students are going there as a quiz master, and we are organizing the quiz with help of this device. So this, and we have also sold it for various colleges and schools. So this is one product. Now calling system we have developed for the hotels. In hotel, whenever you want to call waiter from the counter, so you can press the key which is available on your desk or on your table. So the person comes to know that on this particular table someone is calling me. So the waiter will immediately go there. So this is the calling system. The code converter I have just explained, right? So these are the products of my physics department, and these all products are developed by me, designed by me, and my students have helped me to develop this. I am also doing various workshops on the basis of this my products and my work. So here, whatever lecture I have delivered, so here these are the websites and references from where I have got the information regarding the first part of my lecture. As far as second part of my lecture, in which my own contribution I have demonstrated or I have explained, is working of my own. So these are the references, and thank you very much for spending your time and listening me. So at the end of this lecture, I want to just say Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, and Jai Vigyan. Once again,